Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do the 50 facts about me tag because it has been requested a few times, and also I thought it would be a good chance for you to get to know a little bit more about me. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm 25 years young. I'm an Aries, although when I read things about my star sign it doesn't always sound like me. I'm an only child. I'm obsessed with learning all the lyrics to every song I listen to. I'm obsessed with animals and I've grown up with them my whole life. I've had dogs, cats, a sheep, a guinea pig, horses, a pigeon. Apparently when I was a child I used to find dead rabbits on our property and I used to bring them home and ask my parents if I could keep them as pets, and I would cry every time they said no. I now have two dogs. One is a 15-year-old Kelpie and her name is Polly, and the other one is my fur baby who's a major brat. She's 3 years old, she's an American Staffy, and her name is Iggy, who we also call Piggy. Piggy was a rescue who I completely fell in love with the moment I met her. It was completely by accident. I knew nothing about her breed. She was just such a beautiful dog, still is such a beautiful dog. And anyway, I asked my parents if I could keep her and they said, no more pets, we're done, you have enough. And my boyfriend was like, bring her home. So I brought her home. Classic Piggy move, classic. I grew up in the bush and now I want to live by the beach. The most rebellious thing I think I've ever done is when I was about 14, my friend and I went shopping and we bought a fighting fish and we bought all the stuff to go with it, like vases and whatever, and I didn't tell my parents. But as it turned out, having a vase in my room with a fish in it really wasn't a big deal to them. The most dangerous thing I've probably done was when I was younger and I used to go paddock bashing. We have like a small creek down the back of our property and I used to kind of find this dirt mound and I would kind of launch my car off the dirt mound to make it over the creek. Not that safe now that I think back on it. I am an outgoing introvert. You should Google that. The coolest place I think I've ever been is an island called Atutaki, which is part of the Cook Islands. I went there as part of a cosmopolitan trip. We shot there for 7 days and it is so beautiful. Like, the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life. Crystal clear, blue waters, and random little like deserted islands. It was incredible. The accommodation was quite hideous, but the actual island was incredible. But my favourite trip was probably to Hawaii for my 21st birthday. For my next holiday, I'm dying to check out the Whitsundays, particularly Hayman Island, and Qualia as well actually. I've been a makeup artist for 10 years now. Can you deal with that? 10 years, a decade. I've worked for magazines, clothing labels, clothing stores, celebrities, musicians, and fashion shows as well. So now I know you want to know who the best celebrity I've ever met is, right? Right? Well, it was Beyonce. I was actually randomly employed, I still don't know how, to do this guy's makeup, and his name is Steve Jones. If you're from the UK, you probably know who he is. Basically, I think from the research I did beforehand, he's like a really well-known TV presenter. So he flew from the UK to Australia to interview Beyonce behind the scenes at her I Am Sasha Fierce world tour in Sydney, and I had no idea that I was meeting Beyonce, so I was a bit like... She was pretty damn beautiful and my obsession with her all started from that day. My funniest celebrity moment was probably a couple of years ago. I worked with Jason Derulo and he asked me how long I'd been doing makeup for, so I told him it was my first time. I'm obsessed with music. It's probably my biggest inspiration and I listen to what I call gangster beats pretty much 24/7. I really wish I would have stuck with those hip hop classes when I was a teeny bopper because they would have come in really handy now. I love Jay-Z, Beyonce, Tiger, Nicki Minaj, Iggy Azalea. I already said Tiger, didn't I? Ludacris, Busta Rhymes, Kanye West, Mickey Blanco, A$AP Ferg, A$AP Rocky, Schoolboy Q, Lecrae, T-Wayne. I like a lot of rappers. I can play the drums and the piano and I'd really love to be able to mix my own music. Watching crime documentaries is by far my favourite pastime. I would go as far to call it a hobby of mine. Anything crime, drug, gang, prison related, I'm interested in it. In saying that, it's just an interest for me, it's not a reflection of my lifestyle. My favourite TV shows are Breaking Bad, Sex and the City, Entourage, Weeds, and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Speaking of Jimmy Fallon, I have a huge but non-sexual crush on him. Same goes for Louis Theroux and Ross Kemp, whose TV shows I also really love to watch. My favourite movie changes on a very regular basis, but I like anything with a twist. My favourite app is Instagram, or maybe it's Snapchat now that everyone's going public. I have a bit of a strange relationship with food. I crave things the way I imagine a pregnant woman would. But I have been like that for as long as I can remember, so no, I'm not with child. For example, at the moment I've been really enjoying aloe vera juice and pasta with meatballs. Before that, I think it was ginger beer and halloumi. The only thing that's guaranteed is that it's never a healthy craving. If I could eat one food group for the rest of my life, it would have to be fruit. I live by the words, you can have anything if you want it bad enough, and I've proven that to myself time and time again. I write lists, lots of lists. I love Australian designers. Between Alice McCall, Dion Lee, Josh Goot, and Watson & Watson, I have an empty wallet and a very full wardrobe. When I find a style I like, I tend to buy multiple versions of it. My collection of wedge sneakers, bralettes, and blue shorts is proof of that. My biggest fear is flying, and that started after I couldn't breathe on a flight home from Hawaii. I don't have any tattoos, and the only piercings I have are the ones you see in my ears. I love to stay up late and wake up late when I can. But don't worry, I've seen more 3 AM starts and more sunrises than I ever could have hoped for. Being a makeup artist, you often start early. I love everything and anything that's coconut scented or flavoured. My favourite YouTubers are Desi Perkins and Chloe Morello. This is my party trick. It's not very impressive, I know. Actually, I'm awesome at reverse parking too. I got my first car at the age of 8. It was a paddock basher though, I definitely wasn't driving it on the road. To make you aware of how young I really was when I was driving, I would go for drives around our property and I would put my dog in the back seat and my baby born in the front seat. Did you hear that? My baby born. I can be awkwardly honest. I love reading, but every time I try and read a book, I fall asleep after a few pages. Every time. I have so many goals that I'm not sure how I'm going to achieve them in one lifetime. I have a scar on my nose from a pretty severe dog attack that occurred when I was about 3. Other than a couple of very, very small glasses of red wine recently, I don't drink alcohol or coffee. If I could only use one beauty product for the rest of my life, it would definitely be a highlighter and a brow product. And now I'm going to pretend that I can't count just so I can add that second one to the list. I'm a huge believer in women supporting other women. This probably sounds a little bit weird, but even though I've accomplished quite a few things that I've wanted to career-wise, my proudest accomplishment is definitely giving my dog Iggy a happy home because she grew up in a not so happy home. And here's one extra fact for you. I've been aiming to do some shorter videos on my YouTube channel just to mix it up a bit, but this probably wasn't a very good one to start with. Thanks for watching.